What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's get started. Let's continue with my off-season previews in the NFL. Let's jump to the AFC North today. Let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Pittsburgh bringing in a new coach for the first time in almost 20 years. Mike Tomlin steps down. Mike McCarthy is in. Surprising hire with Mike McCarthy there, but their franchise, not mine. The Steelers right now are armed with almost $45 million in cap space. So they do have some money to do some damage and improve the roster. I don't know where you go from here. I more than agree with moving on from Mike Tomlin. It was time. It's been time, but to bring in a coach who's even older, who's had even less success outside the regular season than Tomlin over the last decade plus doesn't make any sense. And McCarthy, although he's not a bad coach, I think we'd all agree he's a worse coach than Mike Tomlin. So that didn't really make any sense. But he's in. I really think they should just tear this thing apart and retool. This is a very old roster. TJ Watt is 32, Metcalf's 29, Alex Highsmith is 29, Cam Hayward's 37, Ramsey's 32, Freiermuth's 28, Jones Smith is 31. Even Deshaun Elliott 29. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, he'll be 42 next year. The only real young pieces on this team. Patrick Queen's a good linebacker. You have him for 2 more seasons, I think. Or a season or two, you still have him. He's 27. Broderick Jones, your left tackle's 25, but I don't think he's anything special. Joy Porter's 26. He's probably your best young piece you have. We don't really know what Derek Harmon is yet. 23-year-old, who's your first round pick last year, defensive tackle. Other than that, like Nick Herbig isn't anything special, and Peyton Wilson hasn't been very good. And Caleb Johnson, second round pick last year, was a waste of a pick. It looks like he was horrible this past year. Jack Scar's only 24. Maybe he turns into something I like coming out of Ohio State. Surprised he fell in the draft like he did, but man, this roster is old. I would look to trade a few of these guys. You look at some of the really bad contracts you have on this roster. TJ Watt is due $42 million this year. He's due $42 million in 2027 and $46 million in 2028. They're stuck with him. Looks like for probably another year or two. Look, I'm not saying like stuck with him. He's a really good player, but he is getting a little bit older. I think, is starting to lose a step. He's not producing in the postseason really ever. I think he has one career playoff sack, and he never even won a playoff game, and he's been in the league. I think that this coming year will be his 10th year in the league. DK Metcalf is due $31 million this coming year. He's in the second year of that 5-year deal. So, he's another guy you're stuck with for at least another year. I thought even at the time when they got him, it was an overpay. And, like Cameron Hayward, I mean, he's still really good. He's an all-time Steeler. He's in the last year of his deal. He might be an NFL Hall of Famer. I would let him go. He's due over $19 million. You can save, I think, like 14 or 50 million if you cut him, but I would just let him go or try and see if you can get a mid-round pick or two out of someone to take him. I think somebody would. He's still one of the 10 best players at his position. I would just start the clock over. I wouldn't even bring back Aaron Rodgers. I would just see what Will Howard has for a year, win 4 games, get a top 5 pick and draft a quarterback next year. They're not going to do that because they're stubborn. They're going to run it back with they're a 1,000-year-old quarterback and run it back with his old ass group and not make a ton of additions. But not what I would do. The next team up is the Baltimore Ravens. So Ravens, disappointing year, 8-9, missed the playoffs. Long-term head coach John Harbaugh is out in Baltimore. They bring in Jesse Minter, who was once an assistant coach for the Ravens, and then he's of course been defensive coordinator for a while under Jim Harbaugh, both at Michigan when they won the national championship and with the Chargers the last 2 years. He's the other head football coach. So the Ravens right now are set to have about $25.5 million in cap space. Lamar Jackson's cap hit is $74.5 million this coming year. I'm interested to see what they do with him because he only has 2 years left on his deal. He's due $74.5 million in 26 and 27, and then his contract voids. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I've heard there's possibility for an extension. I would advise against that. He's a running quarterback. He's coming off an injury-plagued year. He's going to be 29. I could see him doing it to lower his cap hit this year, which so an extension might actually save them money, at least in the short term. But I wouldn't, do anything crazy. Look, he's a great talent. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the sport still, but he has not got it done in the postseason. He's a little bit injury prone. And these running quarterbacks, they don't last. You saw Cam Newton went from MVP of the league to Adler like that. And this happens with everybody. This is another slightly older roster. But the North should be theirs for the taking. You got a fresh start, at the head coach position. This roster is really good. Pittsburgh is, kind of directionless. Cleveland's a joke. The Bengals are flawed. Ravens, no reason why they can't win the division next year. If this coaching staff can come in and, push the right buttons. They got to get another receiver for Lamar Jackson. I like Zay Flowers a lot. I think he's underrated. I think he's one of the better receivers in the game. But they need a true vertical threat. They've been really since they drafted Lamar Jackson. The closest thing they had was Hollywood Brown in his prime. But they are going to need a legit downfield threat in Baltimore. I don't hate what they have defensively. I think Jesse Minter will be helpful. You have Matabuke in the middle there. I think they need one more really good pass rusher. You have a couple of youngsters who are pretty good at secondary. If they're healthy, should be very good next year. The offensive line should be very good. We'll see if Mike Green can be a little bit better in year 2. You drafted last year, but I think the top 2 positions of need on this team are wide receiver and edge rusher for sure. Now let's jump to Cincinnati Bengals. So another disappointing year for the Cincinnati Bengals, missing out on the postseason. Decided to bring back their head coach, Zach Taylor. Brought back the general manager, Duke Tobin, to the irk of a lot of Bengals fans and just confusion to fans in general. The Bengals do have a lot of money to spend. They are going to have about $60 million in cap space. I don't know how open their window is. We all know they have Joe Burrow, but he's only 30 years old next year, due almost $48 million. He's coming off another injury-plagued year. Obviously, Jamar Chase and Higgins are both due $26 million next year, but those capitals are only going to get larger as the years pile on. And the offensive line is really weak. The defense is maybe the worst in all of football. But this is the year you have to add to this team. You have to put a better offensive line around Joe Burrow. I like a wide number on the left tackle. He's very good. The rest of that line, Ted Karras is a fine center. Mims has been kind of okay since you drafted them. They got to put a better offensive line around Joe Burrow. And defensively, you have to be better. Okay, you've been absolutely horrid the last 2 years, and Trey Hendrickson, your best defensive player, who was injured this past year. But, he's still third in the league in sacks the last 3 years, even with missing 7 games this past year. He's going to be a free agent. I'm not sure if he's going to want to resign. I have my doubts about that. The way you kind of played him in contract talks. So I would, I'd be kind of surprised if he came back, but you got to make an effort. If you have to tag him, but I think that would make him even more unhappy. Like Dax Hill, the young corner, is just okay. BJ Hill is just okay. You got to add a lot of talent to this defense. And the last team we are going to talk about is the Cleveland Browns. The disaster is the Cleveland Browns. They, of course, have a new head coach coming in Todd Monken. They did that whole long search and landed on Todd Monken. God bless him. He's in for probably a short tenure because I don't know where Cleveland goes from here. They are, right now, they're $19.5 million over the cap. They have a lot of void money that's coming off the books, including Joel Patonia, Wyatt Teller, and Dave Njoku. So they are going to have some cap space to work with. They'll have maybe $30 million in cap space. Deshaun Watson is due $80.7 million. That you did not hear me incorrectly. You don't need to get a hearing aid. Thankfully for the Cleveland Browns, his deal voids after the year. I don't know what you do. No team in the right mind is trading for this guy. In fact, you have to pay me for this guy to be on the team. He's 31 years old. He has nothing left, obviously, for a variety of reasons. I don't see anybody. By the way, his career's over after this year. There is a 0% chance that anybody signs him. On top of it, I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback anymore. The off the field stuff, obviously, is just too alarming. It's a PR nightmare. I don't know what you do. I think you'd have to eat it, honestly. Because if you cut him, you'd be taking basically financial suicide. So I don't know what you do. Like, you could ask him to maybe take a pay cut, but I don't know why he would at this point. They're probably going to start Shedeur Sanders over him next year. But I'm just tearing this thing apart. I don't know what else you're supposed to do. And they have some talent on this team. Judy's a decent receiver. I know he's got some drop issues, but he's not a bad receiver. He's just not a true number one. I like the tight end Fanon. I think he'll take a big step forward this next year. Now, defense is really good. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in football. He's a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Mason Graham, I like them trading back to get him last year. Delpit's a good safety. Wusu Koromo is a good linebacker. Carson Schwarzenegger won Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is a very good defense. One of the better ones in the league, but your quarterback room is horrid. Your cap situation is horrid. Alex Mack, I'm not going to be able to get a quarterback the 6th pick this year. And the offensive line is brutal. Conklin's 32 years old. White, Teller, and Batonia probably won't come back next year. They're kind of washed anyway. And so whoever's going to be back there, quarterback, is going to be in for a rough one. And their top young back, Quinshon Judkins, is probably going to miss the start of the season. He broke his leg late in the season. So Dylan Sampson might be their starting running back the first 2 weeks next year. So Cleveland, just Godspeed, because they are in for a rough one. I do not know how Andrew Berry still has a job, their general manager. He must have something on the Cleveland Browns, because I do not know how that dude is still employed. It's honestly a miracle. One more thing I want to talk about before we close this thing out, doing a shorter show today. An Ole Miss judge has granted Trinidad Chambliss an extra year, a 6th year of eligibility. That judge just so happened to have received his law degree from Ole Miss. This is out of control. The NCAA is a bunch of spineless cowards. They didn't get their heads out of their asses and get a grip on this. This is ridiculous. 6 years this guy's been playing college football. Enough. Enough is enough. The NCAA denied his appeal 3 times. He sued the NCAA. He kept appealing 3 times. The NCAA said, no, you're not getting another year. And he just so happened to find an Ole Miss judge who went to Ole Miss, guy's law degree there. He's like, oh, yeah, you can play a 6th year. Absolutely ridiculous. Any interest anything had in Trinidad Chambliss should be gone. I don't think he's a bad talent. He played very well last year for Ole Miss. Big reason why they were in the college football semifinals, despite Lane Kiffin leaving right for the playoff, of course. But teams should hold us against them next year. They absolutely have to. This is utterly disgusting and utterly ridiculous. Trinidad Chambliss needs to take his ass either to the league or get a goddamn job with his old ass. Enough is enough. All right. So what I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.